Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I've got my Premier League Game Week 2 predictions. I didn't do particularly well on the first one. I guessed most of the winners right, but I only guessed one prediction right, which was the 1-1 between Fulham and Brighton. So hopefully I can do better this week. And that's starting with West Ham versus Chelsea. At, I don't even know what their stadium's called. I mean, it used to be the Olympic Stadium. I don't know if it's still called that, West Ham's. But off to a really bad start, obviously. I predicted Sunderland to win 2-1, and they won 3-0. And West Ham were battered, really, I think. I think they just didn't create enough. Bowen and Paqueta didn't look themselves. I think their defence was very shaky. Their goalkeeper made an error for the third goal, I think Hermansen. And I think Chelsea against Palace didn't create much themselves. They looked to have a couple of issues at the back, but nothing what can't be resolved. Obviously, I think they should have lost 1-0. I don't know about that rule with the free kick, but it's whatever. I think in this game, Chelsea are going to show off their skills and win 3-0. I think, no, actually 3-1. I think Bowen will score. I reckon Delap will score a double, and I reckon Moises Caicedo will score. I just think they've got too much power for West Ham. Next game, sorry for looking over, Man City Tottenham at the Etihad Stadium. Very good start for Man City, I think. 4-0. Tierney Reinders looks like a new star born, an incarnation of like Bernardo Silva and Gundogan into one. Obviously, he's 27, so shame we didn't pick him up earlier, because if we did, he could have been a star. Tottenham looked good, obviously, only playing Burnley, but even still there, the grit and fight, and Tottenham managed to hold them out, good clean sheet. Pedro Porro looked good. Richarlison looks like the World Cup Richarlison we know, which is R9 basically, all the memes. It'll be a close game, but I reckon it'll be a close game for the first 70 minutes, and I think Man City will start stretching. They'll bring on the players from their bench, and I think they'll stretch Tottenham. I think we'll win 4-1. I think Tottenham will take the early lead. I think Van der Ven will score a header from a corner. I think we'll score pretty quickly with Marmoush, and then I think Haaland will score a hat-trick for us to win 4-1. And yeah, win the game at the Etihad. Next game is Bournemouth versus Wolves. Wolves look very shaky defensively, but overall, attackingly, I think they did make a couple of good chances and did scare Man City in the first half. I think only in the second half it let them down. Matt Doherty at centre-back, I think, just doesn't work. Get a bit old, a bit slow down. But overall, their midfield looked decent. Obviously, got outrun by like ours. But then again, you know, they've not been able to spend the amount of money as you would expect that. I think Bournemouth looked quite good against Liverpool defensively, but they did make a couple of mishaps what led to the 4 goals. Semenyo scored a double. Happy for him to score a double after what happened with him, obviously, and the fan. I'm glad he could score a double and, you know, try and help Bournemouth to a draw or a win, but obviously Liverpool's attack prevailed. I think this game's going to be a 2-2 draw. I think people will be surprised on how good Wolves actually are, because we didn't really see it in the first game. We couldn't really see it. I think Bournemouth will score 2 in the first half, and Wolves will score 2 in the second half. It'll be a kind of 1 half each. I reckon Semenyo will score another double, so get him in your fantasy teams if you haven't. And I reckon Andre and Strand Larson will score for Wolves to make it 2-2. The next game is Brentford versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa didn't look themselves at all against Newcastle. Obviously, first game week, so, you know, still recovering from pre-season, you know. But they did not look themselves. The passing was a bit off. The attacking was a bit off. Everything was a bit off. I think defensively they looked okay. But Newcastle really should have scored some of their chances. I think this game's going to be tighter than people think. But I think it'll end up 2-1 Aston Villa. Courtesy, I think Keane Lewis-Potter will score for Brentford. And I reckon it'll be an Ollie Watkins double to secure the 3 points for Aston Villa. Next of all at Turf Moor, Burnley versus Sunderland. I mean, relegation 6-pointer quite early. Even though Sunderland played really well, obviously, we all know they're going to be in a relegation fight. People saying title challenge. Someone take a screenshot of the top 6. Leeds and Sunderland in the top 6. You won't see that again for a while. But yeah, I think they played well. I think they will win here. I reckon they'll win 3-1. Burnley will really fight for this, and it'll go down late. I reckon it'll be 1-1 going into the 80th minute, and I reckon Sunderland will get a second. Burnley will have to go for it, because they need points against teams like Sunderland, and Sunderland catch them on the counter-attack and score a third. It's going to be a difficult game for both teams to try and get into, but I reckon Sunderland just edge with the experience and the players, what they've brought in. Next game is Arsenal versus Leeds at the Emirates. Arsenal looked really good. Apart from the attack, I think the attack was a bit disjointed. Martinelli didn't look himself. Didn't see much of Ødegaard. Didn't see much of Gyökeres at all. It'll take time for him to get used to the league. But yeah, didn't see much of him at all. I didn't see much of Saka really. He took on this man once or twice but didn't do much. Obviously scored from a set-piece routine again, which was put the ball on by Ndie and Hope, which he flapped it, and yeah, give them 1-0 win. I think defensively, they didn't look good in the first half. Definitely, Gabriel and Saliba were very unsettled. And they were rattled by Mbeumo and Cunha. And I reckon Leeds will try to do the same here. Obviously, 1-0 win thanks to, I think, a scandalous handball. I mean, if the one what Liverpool didn't get on the halfway line where he literally slapped the ball and that wasn't handball, I don't know how Tarkowski got handball given against him when his arm was blindside. But, good first 3 points, but I reckon this should be an easy win for Arsenal. But I think Leeds will give them a challenge, and I reckon it'll be 3-2 to Arsenal. I think Leeds have got the attack and prowess, but defensively I think they'll just fail. I think Ødegaard will score, and I reckon Trossard will score twice for them to win 3-2 off the bench. Sunday now is Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. The derby, some people would say now after the Europa Conference League thing. I reckon it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think Nottingham Forest did look really good against Brentford. Obviously, a very lacklustre Brentford now that they've lost a lot of their good players. But I think overall it'll be 1-1. I reckon Mateta's going to score from the penalty spot, and then Elliot Anderson will equalise late in the second half-ish. I think it's going to be a tight game at Selhurst Park. Two teams fighting to try and get into Europe next season. I think Crystal Palace can definitely do that if they keep Guehi and Eze. So yeah, 1-1 for me. Everton versus Brighton at the new stadium. Can't wait to see that. And I reckon Everton will lose 2-1 at the unveiling of the new stadium. I just don't think Everton looked good at all yesterday night. I think they were very lacklustre everywhere, all over the pitch. I think attackingly, they didn't really make many chances. Didn't really give Barry much of a chance. They only subbed him on to try and save them a point. I don't think I saw much of any Mananjai, much of Beto. I think it'll definitely show, and I reckon Brighton will win 2-1 thanks to a double from Danny Welbeck and a late goal from James Tarkowski. Fulham versus Man United at Craven Cottage. It's going to be a close game, closer than people think, but I think Man United are definitely going to win here, 3-1. I think Cunha will score a brace, and I reckon Let's go Harry Maguire off the bench. I reckon Fulham will score. They've got a decent team, Fulham. I think they can challenge for top 10. But overall, Man United have just got that, their attack now. They've got a better midfield. They look more organised, and yeah, I think they'll win 3-1 here. Final game of the week, the best one, Newcastle versus Liverpool at St James's Park. The Alexander Isak derby. Liverpool did look a bit bad in defence. I think Van Dijk didn't look like his former self, neither did Konate. Attackingly, Wirtz wasn't at his best, but I think once he gets into it, he'll do really well. I think this will be a 2... I was going to say 2-0, but I think Newcastle will definitely score. I reckon it'll be a 2-1 game. Just like the one a couple of seasons ago when Darwin Núñez scored a double to save them. I think Liverpool will prevail. I reckon Mo Salah will score again. I don't think he'll score 2, so it's up to you whether you captain him on FPL if you play. I'm going to have Haaland captained. And I think Gakpo will score as well. And for Newcastle, I reckon Anthony Elanga will score. He missed a couple of good chances against Villa. But I reckon he's gonna score to make it 1-0, and then Liverpool, with the team they've got, are going to come back and win. That's my predictions. Tell me if you like them if you think I'm really wrong, if you think I've got bad ball knowledge or good ball knowledge. I'd like to see what your predictions are, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.